Today on Public Eye News, NMU students plan to protest Governor Rick Snyder's speech at commencement, and a decades-long investigation into the Golden State Killer comes to a close.
Elijah Clardy has our forecast as we head into the weekend, and Caleb Rydell has sports stories on the Stanley Cup. Hi, I'm Max Stevens.
And I'm Ryan Gooch, and this is Public Eye News. NMU students and community members were greeted at the door with face paintings and glow sticks. Anyone in the community was invited even if they didn't have a PEEF pass. All anyone without a pass had to do was bring some canned goods to donate to support Marquette ending hunger. The event acted as a distressor for students leading up to finals week and a fun exercise event for the rest of the community. According to a press release sent to TV6 and Fox UP on May 5th, NMU students, Flint residents, and some other community groups will join to protest Governor Rick Snyder. Snyder is the commencement speaker at NMU's graduation ceremony, and protests plan on gathering around the Superior Dome for the ceremony. After Snyder was announced as the commencement speaker, a group of students and faculty who disagreed with the decision was formed to protest.
Escanaba's Board of Appeals unanimously approved a $9.5 million apartment building Tuesday night, a proposal the city's Planning Commission had previously rejected. The building is planned to be 4 stories and will occupy the 1400 block of Ludington Street at the former site of the Northern Motors Ford dealership. Previously, the Escanaba Planning Commission rejected the plans with a 4-1 vote back on February 26th, but the developers appealed the decision, which led to the meeting on Tuesday. The developers will remove the already existing building on the property, which has been empty for 18 months, and will have several months to get their financing in place before construction begins. And Michigan Department of Transportation officials met in Escanaba on Wednesday to discuss the upcoming construction season and to get the word out to the public about projects planned for the summer. 3 major projects are planned for Delta County, the first of which is finishing construction on the Escanaba River Bridge, which officials say is currently on schedule for a completion date sometime in late September. Then during August and September, M35 will be resurfaced from near the Delta County Airport to the Menominee County line. Finally, between June and September, a 5.5-mile stretch of road on US 2 between Gladstone and Rapid River will receive a grade lift on existing concrete.
And after the harsh winter, the Upper Peninsula deer population could take a big hit. DNR Field Operations Manager Craig Albright said deer have increasing metabolisms during this time of year, and if deer can't get enough food, they can have a lot of stress put on their bodies. Snow cover this year has lasted much longer into April than in previous years, and this could lead to an increase in deer deaths. The lack of food and increase in stress also could lead to unhealthy fawns that are born in the early spring. If these young fawns die in the next few months at a higher rate than normal, the amount of spike bucks to 5-point bucks could be reduced this fall. If these things actually happen, it could affect the deer population for years to come. And a state board determined on Thursday that a petition to legalize and regulate recreational marijuana has enough signatures to move forward. In a 4-0 vote, Michigan's Board of State Canvassers voted to approve signatures submitted by the Coalition to Regulate Marijuana Like Alcohol at its meeting. The petition would legalize, regulate, and tax recreational marijuana. Those over 21 could use marijuana, but would still be unable to consume it in a public place or drive under the influence. To move forward, the coalition needed a little over 250,000 signatures. Bureau of Elections Review found the group turned in over 360,000 signatures. And after the break, we'll be back with your national and international news. Stay tuned.
In a remote valley in Mexico lies a mysterious hill. A hill that is pictured on an ancient map as one of the largest stepped pyramids in the world.
People think that Teotón is a pyramid because it has been proven.
No evidence supports that.
Stunning celestial alignments connect the hill to an ancient people. Join us as we uncover their mystery, hidden in plain view.
Tonight at 10 after Under the Radar on Public TV 13. And welcome back. President Donald Trump's pick to lead the Department of Veterans Affairs, Ronnie Jackson, withdrew Thursday in the wake of late-surfacing allegations about overprescribing drugs and poor leadership while serving as a top White House doctor. President Trump had selected Jackson, a Rear Admiral in the Navy, to head Veterans Affairs last month after abruptly firing David Shokin following an ethics scandal. Many accusations about Jackson's workplace conduct came up yesterday, courtesy of Senator John Tester's Democratic staff on the committee considering his nomination. In a statement made earlier today, Senator Tester called on Congress to continue its investigation of Jackson. And a bipartisan bill to protect special counsel investigators could be headed to the Senate floor for a vote. The bill was conceived after President Trump increased his attacks on special counsel Robert Mueller and Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein, the men in charge of the Russian meddling investigation. Kenneth Craig has the latest from Washington.
At least debate.
At the center of the debate today among the Senate Judiciary Committee is a bill that would help protect special counsel Robert Mueller's job. A bipartisan effort to halt the undue firing of special counsels, including Mueller.
The president cannot personally fire Mr. Mueller. The president can fire the person who appointed Mr. Mueller.
Mr. Trump has increased his attacks on the special counsel, Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein, and the investigation into Russian meddling in the 2016 election, repeatedly calling it a witch hunt.
We could do something here today that could provide common sense, pragmatic checks and balances to executive authority.
The bill makes sure special counsel investigators are free to independently do their work. It also delays any firing of a special counsel investigator for 10 days while the decision is appealed to a panel of judges. An amendment that's being considered would require the special counsel to notify Congress if the special counsel's investigation changes or expands. Some senators see that as a deal breaker.
Transparency and accountability is very much in the public's interest. The public's business ought to be public, except for maybe national security or privacy.
Even if the bill clears the committee, it faces an uncertain future. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has vowed not to bring the bill to the floor for a vote. Kenneth Craig, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
As the royal wedding of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle approaches, the prince has finally found his best man. Prince Harry has decided to keep the wedding in his family as he chooses his own brother, Prince William, as his best man. Harry was best man when William married Kate Middleton at Westminster Abbey in 2011, and William says that he is honored to be the best man. There's close to 600 guests that have been invited to see Harry and Markle marry at St. George's Chapel in Windsor. 2,600 neighbors, staff, and specially selected members of the public will get to see the couple outside the chapel. And investigators in California say DNA evidence led them to one of the country's most notorious serial killers. Former police officer Joseph James DeAngelo was arrested yesterday. He is believed to be the so-called Golden State Killer. The elusive predator is accused of about 50 rapes and 12 murders, crimes that terrorized California in the 1970s and 80s. John Blackstone reports from Citrus Heights near Sacramento.
All of a sudden, in a 6-day period of time, we've solved the case of the century.
Sacramento District Attorney Anne Marie Schubert made the stunning announcement on Wednesday.
We found the needle in the haystack, and it was right here in Sacramento.
Police say Joseph James DeAngelo is the Golden State Killer who terrorized Californians during a harrowing crime spree that began over 40 years ago.
We started some surveillance. We were able to get some discarded DNA. And we were able to confirm what we thought we already knew, that we had our man.
DeAngelo is an ex-police officer who became a suspect in the last week, identified using what authorities would only describe as a sophisticated new kind of DNA technology. The 72-year-old DeAngelo has been charged with 8 murders in Sacramento, Orange, and Ventura counties, but is suspected in several other killings and dozens of rapes. Many of the crimes were committed just miles from his home in Citrus Heights, where he was arrested on Tuesday. The Golden State Killer hunted and haunted his victims from 1974 to 1986, raping women while their husbands or boyfriends were tied up nearby. He even took souvenirs of his crimes and made frightening phone calls to survivors.
For the 51 ladies who were brutally raped in this crime scene, sleep better tonight. He isn't coming through the window.
Linda Odell is one of those women raped by the Golden State Killer in 1977. Deputy Carol Daly took her to the hospital.
We just didn't give up.
No, and we're just so pleased that this is over.
DeAngelo retired last year after working for 27 years in a local supermarket warehouse. His arraignment is scheduled for Friday. John Blackstone, CBS News, Citrus Heights, California.
And don't touch that dial, because when we come back, we'll have your local weather and sports. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jennifer DeLynn, the host of Ask the Doctors. Please join me and many of my colleagues this season for Ask the Doctors. All year long, we will explore important medical topics, talk about new treatments, and most importantly, answer your questions with doctors live in our studio. So join us this Thursday for Ask the Doctors right here on Public TV 13.
Join us for Ask the Doctors tonight at 8 on Public TV 13.
Welcome back. I'm Elijah Clordy, and this time is approximately 10 after the hour. As we look at our NMU Skycam, much of the snow has melted off as we are finally into spring. The current conditions, sunny with a temperature of 62 degrees, winds west-northwest at 9 miles an hour, and a barometric pressure of 29.77 inches and falling. Going into tonight, expect some cloudy skies. We're going to drop a little bit in temperature, low of 30 degrees, and winds north-northwest at 14 miles an hour. Looking into tomorrow, expect snow showers with a high of 37 degrees and winds north-northeast at 13 miles an hour. Current temperatures across the UP, 50s and 60s, 51 over in Sault Ste. Marie, Manistee is 49, 53 in Escanaba and Menominee is 59 degrees. In the western half, it is 62 degrees in Iron Mountain, Ironwood, 54 degrees. The Keweenaw, Houghton, it is 51 degrees. And back in our hometown of Marquette, Michigan, it is 62 degrees. Looking ahead, Saturday, expect a high of 38 degrees, a low of 23 degrees, and partly cloudy skies. Sunday, a high of 59 degrees, a low of 40 degrees, and sunny skies. And Monday, expect a high of, hear this, 67 degrees and a low of 51 degrees. And sunny. Well, Caleb, here you have some stories about hockey. Hopefully it's not too hot for that.
Absolutely. Things are heating up in the NHL. Tonight, the NHL is getting into its second round of a very intense Stanley Cup playoff. The second round is kicking off tonight with the Penguins versus the Capitals at 7 and the Sharks versus the Golden Knights at 10. The Golden Knights with goalie Marc-Anthony Fleury are expected to win tonight's game as the inaugural Knights do not seem to be losing their momentum, and the Penguins, who have won the last 2 Stanley Cups, are expected to beat the Capitals. Tomorrow's game at 8 p.m. has the Jets versus the Predators, with the Predators having the odds to win. And Saturday night, the Bruins will face the Lightning at 3 p.m., where neither team seems to be having huge odds on each other. Wide receiver for the Green Bay Packers, Trevor Williams, did not receive charges for making a bomb joke at the Los Angeles airport. Davis met with the city attorney about the incident, but the city attorney does not seem likely to change his mind on the charges of the incident. The 5th-round draft pick from Cal in 2016 served as the Packers' primary kick returner and punt returner last season. He ranked 3rd in the NFL in punt return average last season with a long return of 65 yards against the Cleveland Browns back in December that set up a game-tying touchdown to force overtime. Davis was arrested April 8th for making criminal threats after joking about having a bomb at LAX, according to the airport police. The first leg of the semifinals of the Champions League wrapped up Saturday, and if the results hold, it looks like we will see Real Madrid and Liverpool in the final. After Liverpool beat Roma in Tuesday afternoon 5-2, Real Madrid went on to beat Bayern Munich 2-1. Bayern dominated most of the game, but Madrid were the most clinical in front of the net. In the 27th minute, Kimmich put Bayern up 1-0, but right after the halftime, Marcelo managed to bring back for Madrid. Then in the second half, the 56th minute youngster Asensio scored 1 to help Madrid win the game 2-1. Bayern had more shots during the game and had a higher position, but Madrid made it hard for Munich and pulled off the win in Germany. And that's the time we have for you today on Public Eye News. Please join us tomorrow.
The preceding program was produced in studios located in the Edgar L. Hardin Learning Resources Center by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television.